everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to Gengo Lingo mini lessons.
Yep, mini lessons.
Yes. This video is part of our how-to series.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a special request from another fabulous student.
Right.
It was actually a question.
Mm-hmm.
So the question was, how do I use eventually, finally, and in the end?
Right.
Yeah. It's a difficult question because they're very similar.
Yes.
So I will try my best to explain it.
Great.
And you're going to help me,
Yeah,
right?
I'll try. Yeah, I'll give you my professional opinions and
Okay.
things like that.
Okay, so why don't I start with the example sentence that we were trying to make, my
Right.
student and I, in the lesson.
Okay, let's hear it.
He was talking about the Olympics.
Right, okay.
And Hideki Matsuyama, who is a professional golfer, was playing over the weekend.
Okay.
And going into maybe hole 15 or 16, he was in the lead.
Ah, okay.
Yes. And my student said he was in the lead, but eventually he got the bronze medal.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange,
Yeah,
right?
right. That doesn't quite fit.
Right.
We would have a different phrase.
Yes.
In there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's try a different one.
Okay, okay.
He was in the lead, but finally he got the bronze medal.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I think we can do better.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matsuyama was in the lead,
Yep.
but in the end, he got the bronze medal.
But in the end, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So the reason is because the bronze medal is the result,
Yeah.
right? And in the end, kind of focuses on the result.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? The emphasis, the focus is on the result.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
Okay. Okay, so now let's break down eventually, finally, and in the end.
Okay.
Eventually actually means in the end, right? But it's explaining something that happens after an unspecified amount of time.
Yeah. Time, effort. Some kind of thing in a way. Yes.
Exactly. So often when we use eventually, I feel like we're trying to say that it took a lot of either time or there was a delay or there were actually a lot of hurdles and problems we had to overcome to get there.
Yeah. Often those are things that we don't talk about those details.
Yes.
We just kind of skip over those details with eventually.
Yes, exactly. So can I give an example?
Okay.
Okay. I looked for my keys all morning and eventually I found them in the laundry hamper.
Eventually. Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
That makes sense, right?
I think so, yeah.
So it means that I had a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
right? But like I eventually found them in the laundry hamper,
Yes.
right? After probably quite a long bit of time.
Yes.
Okay, I looked for my keys all morning and finally found them in the laundry hamper.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that works too.
Right?
Yeah.
So this time the focus is on the amount of time that was spent,
Yes.
right? I looked for my keys all morning and in the end, I found them in the laundry hamper.
Yeah, that works too.
Also works.
Okay.
So in this situation, all three of those words work.
Yes.
But the emphasis is different,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Eventually found them in the laundry hamper tells the listener that you had a whole bunch of trouble. You put a lot of effort into finding them,
Yes.
right? Finally puts the emphasis on the time that was spent finding them.
Yeah.
And in the end is just not really focusing on those two, but just the result.
Yeah.
I found
That's
them.
right, the result.
They were in the laundry hamper.
Okay. So far, I'm liking this. This makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Let's try another example.
Okay.
Okay. I'm studying Spanish now because eventually I want to live and work in Spain.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
Right.
After hard work studying and
Yes.
somewhere down the road, amount of time.
Yeah. Right? And it's an unspecified amount. So sometime in the future,
Yes.
I want to live and work in Spain.
Eventually.
Okay. I'm studying Spanish now
Yep.
because finally I want to live and work in Spain.
No, that doesn't work.
right?
No.
It's strange.
It's strange.
Grammatically, it's not incorrect.
Okay.
But the focus is not correct, right? So finally, I want to live and work in Spain means like you've at last made that decision to live and work in Spain.
Yes.
Right? So the focus is on your decision to work there, not on you living there or
your goal.
Or like studying Spanish.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the last one would be, I'm studying Spanish now because in the end, I want to live and work in Spain.
In the end?
Yeah, right? It's a little bit weird, right?
In the end. It sounds kind of like you're dying. Are you dying?
No, I'm not dying. But again, like this is like the sentence is grammatically not incorrect.
Yeah.
But the emphasis is on the end result.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Living and working in Spain versus like you're studying Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not like a good, what is it called? Connector phrase between the two.
Yes.
Right. So in this case, the best sentence was, I'm studying Spanish now because eventually I want to live and work in Spain.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Make sense so far?
So far, so good.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at a few more, right? This is a little bit easier, but in this case, I think that there are definite no's and a definite yes.
Okay, excellent.
We invited Ken to join us for drinks when he finished work. Eventually, he couldn't make it.
Oh, eventually he couldn't make it. No, I would say no.
That's weird, right?
Yeah, Maui, that's weird.
Okay. We invited Ken to join us for drinks after work. Finally, he couldn't make it.
Finally, he couldn't make it. No, that doesn't sound right either.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I would say no on that one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We invited Ken to join us for drinks when he finished work. In the end, he couldn't make it.
Yeah, in the end, he couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the focus is on the result,
Right.
is that he couldn't make it. So that's why it's the best word or phrase for this situation, right?
Yeah.
The other two don't work.
Yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning. This is great.
Okay.
I like it when there's a yes or no. Like
a hard yes or
it's
no.
rare. In English, it's always like, well, sometimes, sometimes.
That is true. That is true. Okay. Well, one good point, I guess, is eventually and in the end, right? They're similar, yet the nuance is slightly different. So it's kind of hard. But finally actually has a very good meaning that the other ones don't really carry, which is it's the last in a, like, steps the last step of something. Yeah, the last, or a final point, like when you're giving a presentation. Okay, so let's imagine we're making hard-boiled eggs.
Yes, okay. I can imagine that.
So first, you put the eggs in a pot and cover them with water, right? Next, you put the pot on the stove and boil the water. After that, you boil it for 1 minute.
Okay.
And then finally, you run the eggs under cold water.
Okay.
Right? So it's the last step. You got that, right?
Finally.
It's very clear.
Yeah.
Right? Finally. The final step.
Yeah.
Okay. What if I said, first you do this, next you do this, and then eventually you run the eggs under cold water?
Eventually. One of these days. Not today. Maybe, next week or something. Eventually.
Right. Yeah. So if I said that, you'd be like, that's weird.
That's weird.
I mean, it's true.
Eventually. That time frame is a little short, though.
Exactly.
When I think of eventually, it's long.
Yeah, it could be like tomorrow or, right? Yeah, so it's a bit strange when you're talking about steps for something, right?
Yes.
How about like first you do this, next this, final, and then in the end, you run the eggs under cold water.
Okay, well, it works, but the context is a bit strange for making eggs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because in the end, only focuses on the result.
Yeah.
So in the list of steps, you want to make sure that everyone got the steps before that.
Yeah.
So by using finally, you are signaling.
This is the last step.
Exactly. It's the last step, and that there were steps before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then my final example is, let's imagine that you're a movie star.
Oh.
and you are giving, you
no
win.
Problem.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
You win some kind of award.
Yeah.
And you go up there to make your thank you speech.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? So thank you, Mom and Dad. Right? Thank you, friends. And finally, I'd like to thank my fans.
Okay, yeah, finally. Yeah.
Right? Your last point.
Right? They cheer.
Yes,
yeah?
exactly.
Okay.
Right? Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you, friends. Eventually, I'd like to thank my fans.
Not today.
That's
in a while. Maybe next week I'll thank my fans.
Yeah, that's weird. Right?
Yeah, no, that would not be good in a speech.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try the last one.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Thank you, friends.
Yeah.
In the end, I'd like to thank my fans.
Yeah. In the end. I'm dying?
That's it, right?
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's strange.
Yeah.
It sounds like I'm dying.
So in these kinds of situations where you're like listing something or you want to make a final point, it's safe.
Yeah.
It's a safe bet
Yes.
to use finally.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Don't stop, Maui. I'm learning so much. This is great.
So, do you think that maybe helped my student make things a bit more clear?
We will only know if he comments on this video.
All right, we're waiting for your comment.
I shouldn't even say he, if they.
Yeah.
We don't want to divulge this person.
That's true.
Well, unless they comment with their own name.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
If we receive a question like this in the comments, about another language point, we will do our best to break it down with examples.
Yeah.
So let us know.
And if Maui helped you, please let us know as well. We'd love to hear it. Maui loves teaching.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Join us next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.はい、皆さん、こんにちは。今日のビデオ、How to でスペシャルリクエストをいただいたっていうか、質問を生徒さんからいただいたのでビデオを作りますって約束したんですけれども、3つの単語、eventually と finally と in the end がすごく似ていて、似ているからこそちょっと使い方が難しい。で、同じセンテンスで、ビデオの中でも紹介したんですけれども、同じセンテンスで3つとも大丈夫。グラマー的に、文法的には大丈夫なんですけれども、ちょっとニュアンスがその文章の意味のニュアンス、そのフォーカスポイントですね。強調するところがちょっと違うっていうのが難しいポイントですよね。だから覚えていただきたいのが、eventually っていうのは、そこにたどり着くまでちょっとトラブルがあったとか、時間も経ったこともあるんですけれども、そういう時に eventually を使うのと、あとはもう一個のポイントは、どこか、将来のどこかでそうなるよね。例えば、スペインにいつか引っ越したいですという時に eventually って使います。だから、1年後とか決まっていない時に eventually って使ってみてください。あとは、in the end。in the end は本当にその結果だけの話を、結果をフォーカスポイント、その強調したい部分にしたいときに、集中ポイントですね。にしたいときに、in the end で使ってみてください。で、finally は、時間が長いときに、苦労したとかも、ちょっと入っているんですけれども、eventually の方がそれが入っていて、finally はその時間がフォーカスポイントなので、そういう時に、時間を強調したい時に使ってみてください。それか、最後の例の時に、いろんなステップがあって、その最後のステップとか、リスト化している時に、その最後のものを話す時に、finally で使ってみてください。いろんな例文作ってみたんですけれども、皆さんもコメントの中で3つ例文、このセンテンスはこの3つとも大丈夫なんですかとか、もし質問があったらコメントに入れていただければ、ちゃんと返信します。はい、ありがとうございました。See you next time. Bye!